Are You a Good Mentor? Written and narrated by Jim Szymanski. A book from Two Peas in a Pod Publishing. Introduction. It's a simple question. At some point in life, most of us will assume the role of mentor, even if only for a short while. Mentoring a youngster, a relative, a coworker, a classmate, or maybe a friend is a demanding undertaking. Mentors shouldn't be confused with a role model, someone worthy of imitation, an instructor or teacher, a person whose occupation is teaching, or a parent, one who nurtures and raises a child. None of these descriptors include the term mentor in their definition, and many serving a role in these categories can be found lacking any mentoring skills whatsoever. But a good mentor, on the other hand, represents the gold standard. Good mentors are often good role models. By definition, good mentors are good teachers and instructors, and will more than likely be good parents as well. So, are you a good mentor? I believe I'm a good mentor, or at least that's what dozens of youngsters, now adults, and coworkers have told me over the years. I've spent most of my life working to be a good mentor, and always trying to do the right thing. It started for me when I was a young teenager after a family tragedy. The unexpected death of my oldest brother, my mentor, adversely changed my life path. Soon afterward, I decided that helping other youngsters, being sort of a big brother or mentor to them, would be the best way for me to honor my brother's memory. That turned into serving as a youth hockey volunteer for 2 decades, in meeting and helping hundreds of youngsters and mentoring dozens. It carried on throughout my 30-year career in the packaging industry, where I mentored coworkers, assisted them in being better at what they did so they could provide for and support their families, and all while helping the company to prosper. I wouldn't call my life extraordinary, probably closer to ordinary, yet I have had a diverse group of mentors beginning when I was a tween. Good mentors, each adding their own puzzle pieces, help make my life story rather interesting. A physical education teacher, a sports complex manager, a Stanley Cup champion, a store owner, a plant manager, an employer, and some regular folk, parents themselves, with unique insights into life, all an aggregation of different ideas and ideals. Over the past 5 decades, I have compiled a collection of personal guiding principles. I call them Jim's Golden Rules. Some were established when I was a teen and have continually been a part of my thinking in daily life. Others have found their way onto my list after life experiences, some good and some not so good. They can work for anyone, of any age. Maybe they'll work for you. To be clear, though, my lists in this book are not intended to be judgmental, nor am I trying to proselytize, altering your values or belief system. It's merely my way of sharing these things I have learned along my life path, which have worked for me. But we're all different. That's what makes our species so unique. I can't tell you if you're a good mentor, and honestly, nor can anyone else. That's something you must figure out on your own. Reading this book may help you accomplish that. To ensure this collection is comprehensive, I have added 2 additional sections, as living by Jim's Golden Rules would likely make you a good person, but not necessarily a good mentor. Mentoring 101 covers some mentoring basics, while Poopas and Butterflies focuses on mentoring young people. Most of these quotes or rules have been drawn from the pages of my book, It's All About the Butterflies, Amazon.com. A fantastical journey, my memoir, filled with anecdotal short stories of my life experiences. There are detailed accounts and examples of how many of these guiding principles were applied to real-world situations. While reading through these rules and supportive stories, you might want to reflect on your own personal experiences and ask yourself, Could I have done things differently? Better? Would this rule have changed the outcome? In doing so, you may discover some things about yourself you weren't aware of. No worries, though. There is no test at the end of the book. Okay, enough about me. Let's explore and ascertain if you're a good mentor. Jim's Golden Rules. This collection of golden rules, or guidelines, are comprised of what I began developing in my early teenage years to navigate what we mortals call life. Many worked their way into the moral compass I continue to live by today. Since grade school, I have self-reflected and self-corrected in everything I do. I evaluate my performance and think of ways to do better the next time. I don't recall that anyone taught me to do this. It just sort of happened, and each time I applied what I had concluded, I got better at whatever it was I was doing. That daily brain exercise of reflecting, correcting, became the origin of many of these golden rules. They were reminders for me of things that didn't turn out that well to ensure I didn't make the same mistakes again, which is kind of unproductive. A few are the result of things that have worked for me most of my life, causing some to attach the moniker genius to my name, though I have always remained unpretentious. Others are based on the principled life I have tried to live each day, to always do the right thing. One need not adhere to all these golden rules to be a good person. They're not commandments. They are more like advice or suggestions, though some may help you work through dilemmas in your personal or business life. It's your choice. They're here to reflect my view of what defines a good person. Your interpretation may be different. One thing for sure, though, you must be a good person in order to be a good mentor. No exceptions. Quote, "Always do the right thing. For those who have had good mentors, you probably already are." Unquote. There are many different sets of rules or laws in life's rulebook. For example, they may come from the Ten Commandments, or maybe the Boy Scout oath, and dozens of other places. They are mostly all good and worthy of obeying, but no list is complete. I have narrowed it all down to a single law. Always do the right thing. It's simple and easy to remember, but there is a catch. If you have had good mentors in your life, you probably always do the right thing already, or at least try. If you haven't had the benefit of good mentoring, though, doing the right thing can be a challenge because it requires good judgment and common sense, which must be taught, not acquired. If everyone always did the right thing, well, that's utopia. Unfortunately, we're far off from that level of consciousness. It doesn't mean you can't start working on it now, though, with small incremental improvements. To follow this law, or rule, you may have to forego several of the others. That could be hard for some. Otherwise, doing the right thing could mean different things to different people. Here's an example. If someone, a really bad person, was hurting your child that would probably result in their death, and you had an opportunity to stop or prevent it, with potentially dire consequences, what would you do? You can choose to abide by God's law, or you can do the right thing, even if it may conflict with your moral principles. Here's another example. In many states, if an intruder crosses your threshold and threatens you or your family in any way, even with a pocket knife or baseball bat, you have a legal right to shoot them dead. That's man's law. But is it the right thing to do? Early in my youth hockey undertaking, a boy showed up in our locker room at tryouts. He was an 11-year-old, very outspoken, and a darn good hockey player. Soon afterward, I learned his father had died a couple years earlier. I started helping out by providing rides home and back for games and practices. Over the course of the next several years, I became a mentor and sort of surrogate father to this youngster and took him to interesting places, did things for him and with him that would be expected of any dad. I tried to make his life as normal as possible despite his circumstance. No one asked this of me. I just thought it was the right thing to do. He grew up to become a good citizen of the world and a loving father. If you only find one golden rule in this book worthy of your consideration, this should be the one. All the other golden rules, while specific by design, are based on the premise of always doing the right thing. Should you lack the good judgment required to do the right thing today, surround yourself with mentors and observe and question their actions. Let them be your guides. Before long, you too will always be doing the right thing. You can find the print and Kindle ebook editions of Are You a Good Mentor at Amazon.com.